Hello and good morning to you. This is Dr. Bill Bledsoe bringing you another glorious session of your prayers where you say them aloud in the privacy of your own home, your private concerns to God, creating a walk with God that you just won't believe. We'll begin by me saying my prayer. God, I thank you for this wonderful method of prayer that you've given us through the generations, through the house of Abraham, the house of David, from Jesus, his mother Mary, Father Joseph, Mary Magdalene, and Virginia Ellen, who wrote the book, Sacred Heart Yoga. Amen. Now, if you'll repeat after me, we'll say the Sacred Heart Yoga morning prayer. Beloved God, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to your love, O God. And I allow myself to be purified of fears, as I rejoice in your kingdom of heaven and your love of me, O God. And I give thanks for these blessings, these moments that I share with my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul, in oneness with your love, O God. Om. Now we're going to clear our minds of distractions. Distractions are fears of things that have to be done, things that we need to take care of. So here we're going to clear our minds of fears of distractions. We do this with emotion. With our right arm, we take it up to the 12 o'clock position. We let it go clockwise over to the 3 o'clock position. Our right knee, left knee, 9 o'clock position, and back up to the 12 o'clock position. As we do this motion, our prayer begins with, well, what you do, repeat after me. God, I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them into your love, your light, O God. Om. Now, the rest of the prayers, I'll just begin it with a few words, and I'll give you time to finish it any way that feels right to you with your walk with God. First thing we're going to do is ask God, how may we serve you this day? And the answer, excuse me, I'm getting a lot of stuff in the back of my throat. The answer comes to me in no more than one or two words. When I ask, how may I serve you this day? One or two words. And sometimes it's a heartfelt feeling. Every now and then it'll be nothing at all. Don't worry about it. Whatever you get, just relax and keep incorporating that into the rest of your prayers. And I promise you by the end, you'll have a good, clear message from God of some sort. So here we take our right hands over our hearts, and I'll say our prayers begin with, that means you repeat what I say and then finish it with your own heartfelt concerns if you have anything to add. And then at the end, we'll tone, saying the word Om, and move on to the next position. So, right hand over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, how may I serve you this day? Om. Now we're going to stand up and announce out loud what came to us. We do this by standing straight and tall, arms at our sides, our palms forward. And here our prayers begin with, God, my intention to serve you this day is to. Om. Now we seal our oath to God. In Aramaic, we would seal an oath, make a promise by saying the word Amen 3 times. So here we're going to sing it aloud 3 times, whatever tune feels right to you, as loud as you want, all in the privacy of your own home, your prayers. Amen. 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 Now we sit back down on the mat, lay down on our backs, getting into resting position, our arms comfortably at our sides, our legs outstretched. And here we pull our right knee up to our chest, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for. Om. Now we hold our right foot in our left hand, pull it over to our left thigh, let our right knee fall down to the mat, and we let our right arm go straight up above our head, stretched out, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for. Om. Now we hold our right foot in our right hand, hold it down near our pelvis. Our left arm gets stretched out, straight above our heads this time, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for. Om. Now we take our right foot up towards the heavens. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you with all my heart. And I thank you for. Om. Now we let our right foot fall out to the right side of our bodies, down to the mat, opening our pelvis as wide as we can, our knee down on the mat, leg extended. We take our arms straight out from our shoulders, extended out, down to the mat, palms up. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for. Om. Now we turn our heads to the right. Our right foot gets extended straight over our bodies and then over to the left side, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true Father, I love you and I thank you for Om. Now we go back to resting position, our arms comfortably at our sides, our legs outstretched, and we pull our left knee up to our chest this time, holding it there with our arms and our hands. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we hold our left foot in our right hand over on our right thigh. Let our left knee fall down to the mat and our left arm goes stretched out above our heads, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we switch hands. We take our left foot in our left hand, holding it down near our pelvis. Our right arm gets extended straight above our heads this time, down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you with all my heart. And I thank you for all. Now we take our left foot, point it up towards the heavens, holding it with our left hand, right arm still stretched out above our heads down to the mat. And our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you. And I thank you for all. Now we let our left leg fall down to the mat, extend it out, opening our pelvis as wide as we can, out to the left side with our foot. Our arms fall straight out to the sides from our chest down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we turn our heads to the left and we take our left foot straight out and across our bodies over to the right side of our bodies, down to the mat, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, my true mother, I love you with all my heart. And I thank you for all. Now we go back to resting position. And this time, for a second time in the Sacred Heart Yoga, we're going to try to, we call it surrender our fears to God. And so here we put our hands under our sit bones, lean forward on our elbows, and try to touch the tops of our heads back down to the mat. And our prayers begin with, God, I surrender to you all. Now we go back to resting position and reach for the heavens with our left hand. Let it fall over to the right side of our bodies, stretching our left shoulder, left back. And we take our right hand halfway between our left shoulder and left back and our left shoulder and left elbow, and stretch it over a little bit farther, our backs. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I choose to. Om. Now we switch arms. We reach for the heavens with our right arm, right hand, and we let it fall over to the left side of our body, stretching our right shoulder and right back. And we take our left hand halfway between our right shoulder and right elbow, stretching our shoulder and back a little farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I can. Om. Now we go back to resting position, arms at our sides, legs outstretched. And this time we pull both feet up to our pelvis, soles of our feet down on the mat. And we let our knees fall out to the outside, down to the mat. This forms a triangle below our bodies. It's a tabernacle, a house of God. We form a second tabernacle of our hearts by putting our hands in prayer position over our hearts, extending them up 2/3 of the way up to the heavens. And in this tabernacle of our hearts, we find God's beautiful chalice just bubbling over, brimming over with any possible gift, anything we could ever want, need, or desire to use in service to God. The important thing to know about gifts is that if you use them for your self-gratification or for greed or money, you're going to lose them. So here, our prayers begin with, God, I drink from your chalice, your gifts to me of. Om. Now, keeping our hands still in prayer position, we take it to the right down to the mat at the tops of our heads. Let our elbows fall out to the sides. This forms a triangle, a tabernacle, a house of God over our entire bodies. So here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for healing my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul. Om. Now we're going to start the anointing series, and it's a series of 4 prayers. Our hands are kept in prayer position during all 4, and we repeat the 4 prayers a second time. So it's called a series, an anointing series. What we're doing is we're acknowledging and thanking God for the gifts He's given us in our lives. So keeping our hands in prayer position, our thumbs go to our foreheads, and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips, and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in your service, your gifts to me of Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts in prayer position. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of Om. Now we point our fingers down into our abdomens, and we do a motion this time. We extend our arms out, our hands out to our arms extended right above our pelvis, like at the 3 o'clock position on the hands of a clock. And so our arms are the hands. And then we go counterclockwise in the motion up to the 12 o'clock position, up towards the heavens, and then down above our heads, arms extended down above our heads to the 9 o'clock position. So as we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of Om. Now we take our thumbs to our foreheads, And begin the second set. And our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips, hands in prayer position, and our prayers begin with, God, I bless, and I will only use them in your service. Your gifts to me of. Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts in prayer position, and our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts to me of. Om. Now we go back to resting position. No, not yet. Now we do the movement of pointing our fingers down into our abdomens, extending our arms out to the 3 o'clock and then 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions, like the arms of a clock. And as we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts to me of. Om. Now we go back to resting position. Arms at our sides, our legs outstretched. We cross our right ankle over our left ankle, our right wrist over our left wrist, over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for always protecting me, for always keeping me safe. Om. Now we roll over on our sides, push ourselves back up into sitting position using our arms and our hands. And we extend our right leg straight out in front of us. Our left foot goes across our right knee. We hold our left knee with our right arm. Our left arm goes behind our backs for support. And we twist our heads, our shoulders, our backs to the left. And here our prayers begin with, desire I am, desire I am, desire I am. God, in your service, I desire to Om. Now we have to, change legs. Our left leg gets extended out in front of us. Our right foot goes over our left knee. Our right arm goes behind our backs for support. Our left arm holds our right knee in place. We twist our heads, our shoulders, and our backs to the right. And here our prayers begin with, will I am, will I am, will I am. God, in your service, I will. Om. Now we get up on our knees. Put our hands over our hearts in prayer position. And our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for Om. Now we form a tabernacle with our hands by putting the tips of our thumbs together and the tips of our first fingers together. We'll place this tabernacle down on the mat in front of us, our hands down on the mat in front of us, and we're going to lean over and put our foreheads into this tabernacle made by our hands, this house of God. And here we're just going to take a minute and feel God's love, God's presence in the world around us, because He's always there. We'll feel God's love entering our bodies, healing us. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. Our right leg goes out to the right side. Our left foot, and extend it out. Our left foot goes up to the inside of our right thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, only in your service, I will become. Om. Now we take our left foot out to the left side. Our right foot comes up to the inside of our left thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, in your service, I am. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. And we have our hands on our knees, our thumbs touching our middle two fingers, sitting up straight and tall with our backs. And we bow forward at our pelvis, keeping our back straight. And here our prayers begin with, I bow to you, God, for healing my mind, my body, my spirit, my soul. Om. Now we sit up straight and tall a second time, and with our back straight, we bow forward at our pelvis, and our prayers begin with, I bow to you, my God, my Father, my Mother, the One, the Oneness. Om. Start over on that. We sit up straight and tall, and we feel where we're grounded down to the mat on the left side and right side of our pelvis. On the left side of our pelvis, we feel God's wonderful white light of love entering our bodies, filling our legs to the fullest to the tips of our toes, filling our abdomens, filling our hearts, our lungs, filling our throats and our minds, and going out the tops of our heads, and going high, high up into the sky, God's white light of love. And then like a beam, it just expands out over, around in all directions, around the whole earth. And God's white light of love surrounds the whole earth and rains down upon every living creature. Now we feel on the right side of our pelvis God's wonderful blue light of wisdom, of truth, of knowing. God's truth, blue light, fills our legs to the fullest, to the tips of our toes. It fills our abdomens, every cell and every organ. It fills our hearts, our lungs, our arms to the tips of our fingers. God's blue light of love comes up through, blue light of wisdom comes up through our throats and into our minds, giving us God's truth. Now it goes out the tops of our heads. This blue light goes high, high, high like a beam of light, never ending high into the sky. And then it expands out over the whole earth, surrounding the whole earth, and rains down God's truth on every living creature for them to choose. Now we can step up into the light above our heads, stay as long as we want, ask anything we want. But the one question we should always ask before leaving is, God, what do I need to know this day?